All right, guys. Happy Wednesday, One Take Wednesday. So here we are again, back in the office, um, and this thing's looking awesome. I'm so excited for it. I've been getting a lot of work done, a lot of good things coming here for SP coaching, and everything there. So if you are looking for our executive package, where it gets mental health, mental performance between relationships, communication, all that type of stuff, a fitness and a nutrition plan. That's one package with me for the price that most people um, would have to pay just for one of them. And then obviously I do lifestyle stuff. So, if you're just looking for fitness and nutrition, you're looking for balance within that life. And then also I specialize in bikini competitors. As you can see by the pictures of Eunice, and there's gonna be a lot about Eunice in this video today, is what I specialize in. So competitions, contest prep, peak, off season, or improvement season, depending on how you want to look at it. Everything from diet to nutrition, or diet and nutrition, the same thing, Andrew. Diet, fitness plan, what to work out based off your weaknesses. We'll do a little bit of posing practices. We will also help with your suit selection if it's your first time, and with your skin color and everything, as well as take into consideration mental health a lot there, right? Because being a bodybuilder takes a lot of mental strength, and there's a lot that goes on. So that's one thing that you get with both of us. We both work on that together, and then obviously show day. Constant contact if we can't be there, but our goal is to be there for you. So that's what we're doing with SP coaching right now, getting marketing going and everything. But this video here, I really want to go over kind of my last 3 years basically, in my relationships, and why I feel so happy, why I feel so content, why I feel so fulfilled every single day. And first off, I want to put out there, like, I don't look at my ex as a bad person. We had differing ideas. She was very valid in her emotions and stuff. Some of the stuff she did, obviously, it hurt. And I am sure she feels the same way. So this video is more my transformation into who I am and how I got into the mental performance space. Something that I've done for a long time. I just didn't know it. So let's go back 3 years ago. 3 years ago, married just about 9 years, and things weren't right. Things just weren't right. There was a lot of emotional pullback. There was a lot of no talking, and arguments started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And for 2 years, basically, 2 full years, we kind of did an in-house separation. I was sleeping over the garage where we had kind of an apartment. Um, then I went back to my bed. She was sleeping not with me, and honestly, it was a very low point in my life because I never thought I would be there. Well, one thing that amazingly came out of it was I found the Empowered Man. Mark Santiago, and link to Empowered AF is down in the description. Where if you listen to the podcast and stuff, you will hear my voice quite a bit because obviously I'm a coach there now. But I found Mark, and I had interviewed 7 different programs for guys going through what I was going through. Right at first, I was like, oh man, not a lot of people. Well, obviously, Facebook does its job and the algorithm, and I found Mark. I was one of his first 5 clients, and I got a lot of value out of it. The whole premise of Empowered Man isn't extreme masculinity, to be honest. What it is to find yourself. And that's what I love about it. It's to find who you are and what you are missing, and then communication, um, boundaries, power triangles, stuff like that, that are just awesome tools through what we teach. And it really makes you think of who you are. So go through the program. It's 60 days at that time, and I decided to extend it for a year. Well, about 3 months in, Mark and I had built up a relationship. And yes, he was my coach, and I looked at him as my coach, but he became a true friend. We talked about business, we talked about coaching, and he heard from my voice that I was truly a coach. We talked about my business, his business, and everything. And a lot of what I ended up realizing because of Mark was that I was missing a lot in my life due to my marriage. And that was my own fault. And I wasn't being who I was. I wasn't being true to Andrew. Um, I didn't have the best relationship with my mom and my sister because I was just blah, to be honest. I was blah. So as I progressed through the program, I really started realizing a lot of the issues that, my ex and I had were that we were both pretty stubborn, both type A, and we didn't know how to put our own perspectives aside as we were going through arguments. We never really listened to each other in that way. And um, honestly, a lot of the things that we argued upon could not be resolved because there was no give on any side. We did marriage counseling the whole time, we did all that type of stuff the whole time. And, one of the things that our marriage counselor had kept talking, because we did have individual conversations as well, is, Andrew, you got to be who you are. And it really looks like if you try to be who you are, the relationship's never going to continue. Such things as, hey, I don't care if you have a job at McDonald's or something like that, and there's nothing wrong with that job. It's just not for me. Um, I just need a constant something. And I can understand that because financial security is extremely important. Well, that's just not who I am. I am a entrepreneur at heart. I love coaching, so there's gonna be ups, there's gonna be downs, there's gonna be months where we make money, and there's gonna be months where hey, it might be a little bit tight, but I'm okay with that, and I'm willing to take that risk. My ex was not, so we would argue about stuff like that and parenting and so on and so forth. So during this process, I ended up going down to Atlanta for an Empowered Man event, and Mark gave me the opportunity to coach three men in that program when we did our breakout sessions, and I fell in absolute love. So got home, Mark and I had a conversation. He's like, "Hey, I want you to come on board and be the leadership coach." So every Friday, I was taking on the leadership coach and leadership call. So an hour every Friday, I will coach on a topic within leadership, and that can come down to again purpose, communication, all that type of stuff. Because when it comes to leadership, if you aren't true to yourself, how are you going to be true to others, and so on and so forth. So it really kind of fulfilled every Friday what I wanted to do. A couple months later, he was in a spot where he needed an accountability coach. He had brought on Joey as director of basically everything, and Joey and I had connected really well. We had some calls, and he's like, "Hey, let's do this thing. Let's be the accountability coach." So as the accountability coach, I really I kept the guys on task, made sure that all their assignments had comments on them. I took on one more call, so the homework call, which I do on Thursdays for the end of this month, and then just going back to leadership. And I noticed myself getting happier and happier, and less happy with what I was doing within businesses. So, for those of you who don't know, I've owned or ran on the franchisor side um, many franchises. And there was always a point where we found success, or maybe we didn't find success, and I was willing to do the work. I'd do the work. And sometimes the employees just couldn't get on board. Other times, I just get frustrated, over frustrated. And I didn't know why until I did my own work. And over this course of, what is this, 18 months, I really did a lot of personal work. It wasn't work for the relationship, it was perfect. It was work for Andrew. And what I came to the realization was I was chasing money within franchise space and jobs over there. Where what I really love doing is coaching hockey, coaching people within fitness and sports nutrition. I always had a side hustle. I've been a PT and strength coach for 20 years. I've always had clients for 20 years. And I loved it. That's when I really got my biggest smiles. I felt like who I was. But I couldn't see that because of everything going on. So as I did more work, I was like, man, I really just want to be a coach. So, just kept going with it, right? Kept doing my education. I love getting educated every single day. I make myself 1% better every single day, be that within education or so on and so forth. So, you know, we finally decide to separate. I moved out, got this beautiful apartment, where the kids had space, we had space and everything, and found some more friends. And I just noticed myself getting happier and that weight lifting off of me. And I do have to say that, like, our co-parenting at that time wasn't the best. There were still a lot of control aspects on both sides, and it just wasn't working. So again, kept working at it, kept working at it, kept working at it. Well, over the course of this time, I'm out, obviously, and everything, and we were still doing marriage counseling, and nothing was changing. So divorce comes. And a lot of the guys I coach are either going through the process of divorce or going through the process of separation. And I just knew for myself that I couldn't be who I was with who I was at that time. So we filed the paperwork, and I started going out more. Met some very nice ladies, and it just there was red flags, a lot of red flags, and I was at the point in my life where if I saw a red flag, I wasn't going to pursue them. And it was great because in the past I would have, because it was filling a personal want and need for the chase, to be honest. So, um, spend some time by myself, and spending time by myself for myself was really key in this whole process. I was able to get in touch with my emotions. I was able to really process things and go through them. Well, a year ago, I'm at Iceland where I coach, and I meet a bartender, Eunice. I was like, something's different here. You know, she looks fit. She's taking care of herself, which is one of the main things that I said when I was getting divorced, that I would never date anybody that wasn't into fitness. Um, and you know, just started talking a little bit, and like talking a little bit. I mean, hey, how are you? Well, one day I go to the bar. I was wearing a Rogue shirt. Anybody in fitness knows who Rogue is, and we started talking a little bit more. Well, the next day I was doing my lift. I do my normal Instagram story post with when I was lifting, and I get this DM, and I'm like, oh, cool. Well, that was kind of the start of it, right? Because we just started talking, and for 3 months straight, almost every single day, there was a point where she kind of pulled away, um, because she was dealing with her own stuff. But I appreciated it because she communicated that with me. We talked. We talked about lifting. We talked about life. We talked about what's going on. We were asking each other how we were doing, how we were feeling, and we were there for each other for 3 straight months before anything even happened. Um, and it was amazing as I built this emotional connection with somebody where I could be honest with them and forefront with them and vice versa, how the feelings just increased and increased and increased. So last year, we decided to go on a date, and it was great. It was absolutely phenomenal. And, you know, I had never felt like I was wanted um, by a female companion before. At this point, I was like, it was awkward, it was uncomfortable for me, but it was amazing. This woman is exactly who I want to be with because I get to be myself. I can be the Andrew that can be a meathead and be super proud of myself in the gym, super proud of myself in these because it was super supportive. And so we decided to start dating. And on February 22nd of last year, we decided to make it official. And it's been amazing ever since. Personally speaking, it's the best relationship I've ever been in. And it's honestly, I feel because I've done a lot of the work. I can put myself aside to support her. There's a lot of compromise. There's support on both ends. I mean, unlimited support on both ends within our careers, within our either bodybuilding and lifting. No matter what it is, it's encouraged to be individuals as well as a couple. And that's what's been truly amazing. So during the course of the time, we decided, hey, let's move into with each other. So she moved in here with the kids, and her and the relationship with my kids is through the roof. We talked about it before it happened. We really kind of set some ground rules about, hey, when we talk about my ex, everything's positive. We don't poke holes. We don't poke at them. We encourage the differences between us. We encourage these things, and you know, I can honestly say that there's tons of love between Eunice and my kids. My kids are saying I love you to her. They truly enjoy time with her, just as much as I do, and that makes the dad in me, extremely happy. Um, and then when we come to bodybuilding, and she has some high goals, and her genetic potential is through the roof. Where I have to work a little bit harder, so there's a big difference there. But I can put myself aside to support her when I need to, and vice versa. And if you guys want, go check out the hat video on how I do that. But the reason this relationship, in my mind, it really works is we get to be ourselves. We get to have our bad days and have somebody there to talk about them because we know it doesn't have to do with each other. It has to do with ourselves. And we can support those things. Our emotions, we're very open about them. We're very open in our communication. Um, and it really works because we both believe in working on ourselves. And it's not to blame the other person or anything like that, right? Where a lot of relationships go. It's more on the fact of, hey, I know I'm feeling something. I need to go do the work. I know Andrew or Eunice is there to support me within this. So this is what it looks like. And we communicate that to each other. And that's why I think over the past few weeks, actually, I don't think I know, I've been the happiest I've ever been. I'm super supported in growing this coaching business. I am super supported in everything I've done. I get extreme validation from myself and from her, in the mirror and from her. Everything's always positive. Everything's like, hey, you're working hard. Hey, I'm here for you. And it was something I've always been looking for. And I found it. And I can be me. I can be the guy that bust his ass for 7, 8 hours starting at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I can clean or relax or do those things. And I don't feel pressured to do it. I don't feel a weight on my shoulders. It's the first time I truly don't have that weight on my shoulders of, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, walking on eggshells and all this stuff. I'm just open. And if there's something we got to talk about, let's talk about it. So I found who I am from this process over the course of 3 years because as I looked at the old relationship and what I did and Mark and the empowered man and everything was I worked on myself and I'm not going to I'm not going to bend who Andrew is anymore. And I'm lucky to have found somebody that supports that. And I truly believe that's because I support her in that. And that's what I wanted to get out in this video is you have to understand who you are and not lose who you are in a relationship, in anything, in work. It doesn't matter what it is. You can't lose who you are, your purpose in life, your values and everything to cater to somebody else because of somebody else's emotions or anything else. We can be supportive of these emotions and be empathetic and all these things, but you don't need to change who you are just to impress somebody else or because of their emotions and everything. We have to talk about it, communicate about it, and you need to realize that if you're losing who you are, you're going to lose everything in life. So this video is about taking care of yourself and how it actually correlates into the relationship. The more you fill your cup, the more you understand who you are and the more you know what you can do, the better your relationships outside are. The more perspectives you can gain, the more everything you can build. So make sure that you're filling your cup every single day. Make sure that you're doing the work for you. Hey, I'm feeling some sort of way. I need to go download these. And sometimes you got to really ask yourself, what's the truth? And the truth about my old book was it was an old book. I was trying to write chapters in a book that needed to be finished. So I've opened a new book, and maybe you do too. Open that new book, write those new chapters. Maybe it's time to close the old book and say goodbye to 1.0, 2.0 yourself and become 3.0, 4.0, 5.0 of who you are and what you want to be and what you want to bring to this life. So, with that, make sure you're doing the work. Find yourself somebody that's supportive in you doing the work. Number two, and find somebody that you you want to be with. That, hey, they do check a lot of the boxes. And I get to be me. And being me is blah, blah, blah. Because we're all different. So, with that, happy Wednesday. And I'll see everybody later. Peace out, everybody.